it's Luminosity TV. My name is Sylvia Emichetti. Last week, I talked about why it's important to hear a message and not judge based on the messenger. This week, I hope to tell you why. In every area of life, there are those who wish to help humanity, and there are those who want to take from humanity. As you go about in your life, can you spot the difference between the takers and the givers? Do you have the right tools to discern between the truths, the half-truths, and the flat-out lies? Are you awake to what's going on around you? Are you questioning everything? Or is it too much trouble for you to dig deep and find the right answers? Everywhere you look, there's so much insincerity, so much greed, and so much intellectual arrogance. You see it everywhere, in every facet of life. In politics, if you're in the third world countries, it's called bribery and corruption. In politics in the Western world, it's called lobbying. In education, it's bribing the teacher to give you good grades. In religion, it's called blind faith, allowing yourself to be brainwashed by a pastor by parting with your money every Sunday. In business, it's called white-collar crimes and kickbacks. In entertainment, it's called fiction or make-believe. That's what you're paying Netflix for. In the media, well, it's now called fake news, but they still try to convince you that it's the truth. And in social media, forget that one. It's a complete mess. Anything goes these days. But lately, this one industry seems to evade all possible scrutiny in the minds of the average person. In fact, it defies logic because seemingly intelligent people, they stop thinking for themselves once they hear anything from this industry. They take whatever it is that they've heard and they play it back to others around them as fact. Unfortunately, this has now become one of my pet peeves, and I'm always taken aback every time I hear someone say, "It's not backed by science and research." I'm like, huh? It sounds to me like this is a new upgraded version of my pastor said. Those of you from Africa will understand what I mean by that. It's not backed by science. Excuse me? You think everything has to be backed by science and research to be right? You hear this ever so often now in conversations, and it's being used to make an argument seem credible. It usually goes something like this. There's no scientific evidence to prove that this is right. In fact, studies have shown that it is done this way and not that way. Laboratory findings have been presented and concluded, and it's actually like this. Medical science does not support that. Scientific evidence has shown that 80% of people are in fact like this. My doctor said I shouldn't eat this because it will cause that. Forget the race card. The science card is now the new card to pull when you're having conversations. No one is thinking anymore when it concerns them. We'll just let science and research sort it all out. The notion is almost as if researchers and medical scientists could never be wrong, and that every study that they come up with is fact. We're either too ignorant to exert ourselves to find the right answers, too intellectually arrogant to entertain other more simple ideas and opinions, or we have just relinquished our own ability to think for ourselves and we've farmed it out to the so-called experts. But allow me to welcome you to a world of bogus research, interest group lobbyists, big money sponsors, where money changes hands so that your so-called recent scientific studies end up with doctored results. I'm still amazed by those of you who laugh at churchgoers, calling them fools for being brainwashed by their pastors. My pastor said, my pastor said. Look in thy own eye for the same mode. We are all being brainwashed every day, especially those who can't wait to draw the science research card and quote you some data. Data which they themselves cannot verify, nor will they ever know the incentives that played a role in those data results. Like I said last week, it's our responsibility to take what we hear and intuit it. So let's ask each other, who is science? Who are these researchers? Are they aliens? Do they come from a different planet? Are they angels with wings? Or are they humans just like you and I? And are they prone to error? Do they have good days and bad days? Can they be influenced just like we can? Do they have mortgages to pay? Now, can you fully trust what they've presented to you as fact? So why are you telling me it's not backed by science? Are you backed by science and technology? You are not a scientific being. Neither are you a technological being. Science did not create you, and so science will never fully understand you. You are a spiritual being, created by the Almighty Father. Your spirit belongs to Him. Your physical body belongs to nature, not to science. So if you're relying solely on science to tell you what to put in your body or what's happening to it or who and how you should be because research has shown, you'll be waiting a long time for proper answers. Answers that concern your mind, your body, and your spirit. And yet, on this same planet, there are gifted human beings decades ahead of science with advanced information on how the body works, on how the spirit works, and how you can balance the activities of both. Someday, when science is done, I believe that more and more people like this will be able to show their abilities to the world. One of such people is a man who I recently found out about, who at a very young age was gifted the ability to be able to tell you what organs in your body are diseased or have issues just by looking at you, and he could tell you what natural foods and herbs you needed to eat to help your organs heal. There are so many people like this. A lady I know very well recently found this man after years and years of having surgery for a growth that just wouldn't go away. As soon as it was operated on by the doctors, it grew straight back. The doctors never said what caused the growth. In fact, they don't know. But they always want to surgically remove it first and get paid. Well, recently she was asked to come in for yet another one of those surgeries, and she decided she had just about had enough. She prayed and longed for a solution, something beyond what the doctors could offer that would help put a stop to her pain. Well, she got it. One cheap herb introduced to her by this man, who is neither a doctor, a scientist, or a health guru, just someone with a gift willing to help a failing humanity with its health crisis. A herb that you can find in your local supermarket. She took it for weeks and weeks, and this not only reduced the growth, but has taken away all of the painful symptoms that she always had. Such is the powerful transformation of the gift that nature offers us in all naturalness and all simplicity, which can never be compared to science. Don't get me wrong, science and medicine has done tremendously in changing our lives. If you had trauma, an accident, and you needed stitches, brain surgeries, and much more. Although I still think there are some tailors who can stitch you up better than some of those surgeons. I'm just kidding. But you see it in those movies where the actor just gets a needle and a thread and sews up his own wounds, holding a stiff drink. But let's be real. Technical science and inventions are great, but they are limited to this earth, to time and space. When it comes to that which is higher in origin, that is you and I, because frankly, we are out of this world. This is not our home. Science will always fall short. It cannot create. It can only analyze what has been created. It is always based on piecework, principles of elimination, theories and assumptions, all subject to human error. Recent scientific studies using rats have shown Please, are you a rat? Unless your inspiration comes from a higher source and your purpose is to use science to further and ennoble creation and not to harm the people in it. In whatever area of life, politics, media, accounting, research, there will always be a gap, a void, a hopelessness. The time is coming when science will no longer be able to help us, and we will have to plead for nature to come to our rescue. Because technology and scientific equipment cannot be used to measure matters of the spirit or the soul, and won't be able to fully understand your body either. It's always going to be flawed. So which one tickles your soul, nature or science? I know where I'm pitching my tent. I'll let you decide yours. When the so-called intellectual knowledge has been fully spent, hopefully the intuition will find its voice again. Until then, remember, you are not scientific, you are not technological, you are not artificial intelligence, you are simply a spiritual being, and that's way much more. So let's do more of that, because everything works better when we align with nature. There's always help surrounding us, with our spirit guides gently urging us towards making the right choices. So optimize what nature has given you. After all, you don't have to pay a dime for it. Start with the free stuff: sunlight, oxygen, hydration, movement, rest, prayer, connection to the earth, your thoughts, and your relationship with other beings. And let's not forget your food. I have not only found my wonder herb, but I've had to crawl back to nature like that prodigal son begging for forgiveness. Because in fact, I am that lady I just told you about. And I've only been able to share a small part of my experience with nature with you today. And it has changed my life. They say your experiences shape who you truly become. I hope yours brings you closer to nature. Bye for now.